Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have been in conversation with Reverend Joseph Hayab, and now we're going to be joined by Barrister Chukwuma Ezeala. We're speaking about faith, justice. We're talking about peace. We're talking about the way forward for this nation. Let me bring you into our conversation, Barrister. We have just been talking about the figures. We started off with the figures where it comes to people saying, hey, Christians have been the ones being, targeted when it comes to these killings. While I don't want you to go from that beginning, I want you to begin from the point where government systems are the ones or are the reasons these kind of arguments are coming up. Justice system is the reason why these arguments are coming up. Where do we go from here? Take it from there.
You see, perception is always very important in governance. Where you don't have good perception, it becomes a problem for citizens to understand. I don't know whether, can you hear me well?
Clearly, go ahead.
Okay, good. So when you have a system of government where the government is not looking at the perception of the citizens, it becomes a very big problem. Now, just look at the killings you have, particularly in the north. Whether it's by Boko Haram or whether it's by bandits, the kidnappings that you see, there is this perception that the Christians are always involved. In fact, before I came into the studio, I've been having discussions with a lot of my friends that are in the northern part of the country, particularly in Yola, in Kaduna, and others. So the perception is that Christians are targeted. Even people that have been kidnapped, you see a lot of pastors have been kidnapped, a lot of reverend fathers have been kidnapped, a lot of people that have to do with Christian religion have been kidnapped. And by the way, the United States Congress, they won't start saying anything without having some investigation or without hearing some of the things that happen. I think the government must try. But what is important is security of all citizens. If nobody is dying, nobody will be saying that a particular group or a particular section is targeted. Government must stand up today, look at justice. And at the center of it is the issue of justice. Justice to everybody, justice to every ethnic group, justice to every religion, whether it's traditional, whether it's Christian, or whether it's Muslim religion, there has to be justice. People must be treated as individuals because we were all created as individuals. We were not created as Christians or as Muslims or as traditionalists, but we are all created here as now citizens of Nigeria. So
right. Let me just quickly ask you again. We are about going into a very important season of electioneering and elections coming on, right? How much should a discussion like this, how much should a topic like this play a vital role in what is going to determine where we go from here, who we go with from here? How much of it should play into the narrative when it comes to looking at the fact that we just have a new INEC chairman coming on and all that? What are the kind of things we should be saying as from the youths to the general public? What are the kind of things we should be talking about in shaping the narrative heading to that election? Barrister, you might need to unmute yourself.
I do not know whether to... Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead now.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Clearly, go ahead.
Okay, clearly.
We can hear you clearly.
Because when you say government, these are the rulers, including INEC. INEC may not be effective, but then INEC should work. I don't know also whether to say should improve its image. Because from all indication, Nigeria has not seen a good image of INEC. We have seen some snippets when you talk about when you talk about relatively Jega. But in totality, we cannot actually say that the image of INEC is good. In whatever name it has always, whether it was NEC, whether it was Febeco. So INEC should, at this stage, work hard for us to have confidence. If you go to Ghana, you will see the level of confidence they have in their electoral commission. People should be able to predict this is who is going to win the election. People should be able, their votes should count. And when you change votes, when you don't have very good officers on ground, when you don't care about what happens when they change the election votes, then it's still a larger problem that impacts on the society. When you look at what happened in Kenya, when you look at the sister areas, sister countries, South Africa, you see that many of them have an above confidence on their electoral commission. But in Nigeria, the last one was a terrible one. How do you explain? It may have been a genuine mistake. But how do you explain 2 elections, one presidential, one national assembly? National assembly was uploaded. Presidential was not uploaded because of a glitch. We must restore the confidence of the people. People must also understand that when they vote, it should count.
All right. Let's come back to the studio now. Reverend, you've heard what he said. Now let's come back and fix it to that discussion we started off with. Where does forgiveness and trust, how does it look, to shape that future of peace and progress that we're looking for in this nation? Because we're not really here to point at accusing fingers per se. We're here to chart a course for the future. And so the question then becomes, how does forgiveness show up? Where does trust come in? How do we blend this for peace? Not just in Nigeria, it transcends Nigeria, because if this nation is peaceful, then a lot of the other countries within our borders, start to feel something different.
In Christian theology and life generally, forgiveness comes in as a result of acknowledgement of wrong. If I hurt you and I acknowledge that, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't deliberate, I'm not going to do that again, it's easy for you to clear. But once you live in denial, then it's like it's a deliberate and intentional way of doing it. I believe that as Nigerian faith community, we must begin to speak honestly and truthfully to ourselves. Where a Christian wrongs a Muslim, that Christian should be humble enough and godly to admit I did wrong. I misrepresented you. I said negative things about you. I'm deeply sorry. That healing will come in. Where a Muslim also does the same thing, Muslims should be honest too. Something ever happened in Kaduna, and I want to share it on this studio today. In 2000 and 2002, we had Sharia crisis and we have Miss World Beauty Pageant crisis. We then resolved as faith leaders in Kaduna that we don't want violence anymore. Something happened in 2005 in Makarfi. I was then the camp secretary for Kaduna State. The Muslim leaders of Kaduna came in their number to our office to say, look, that which happened in Makarfi was caused by our children. We are sorry. People may have forgotten, Kaduna was able to stay for 9 years without violence. Check the records. Until 2011, from 2002 until 2011, when we had the post-election violence, when Jonathan was elected and so many things, when Kaduna was not the only state, virtually many other states in the north had problems about that. So when we begin to speak truthfully to each other, we forgive each other, we heal. I can't preach Christianity and don't forgive, because the Bible says I forgive so that I too will be forgiven. So forgiveness is important. But where you can find the reason why forgiveness has become a little bit difficult is even in the court of law. See, when the perpetrator of an evil act is brought to justice, it brings some relief to the victims. But where someone burnt your house, someone killed your son, someone stole your property, and you have been asked, don't call him a thief. And he stole it. Instead of you having relief, anger will develop. So Nigerians must learn from the point of faith to forgive. But how do we get forgiveness? When we begin to honestly admit where things are wrong and correct it. And that's what we are preaching in most of our peace advocacy. Can there be forgiveness in the grassroots? Because that's where it starts. Can there be forgiveness as children grow? They grow to see each other as one. They grow to see each other as fellow human being, with respect, with dignity. Then we are changing the story of Nigeria.
All right. Barrister Ezeala, you're going to have the last take. In just 2 minutes, go from what you have seen the president do in recent times to what needs to be done to put this nation on the course, as we speak towards peace. Barrister Ezeala, go from the pardon, go from every other thing, and then go straight into where we are going for peace. Barrister, go ahead. Yes.
When you think of peace, just like my colleague said, when you go for peace, you must be clear that you want justice. Justice must be explicitly shown. Now, when you look at the pardon the president has granted, it's a very unfortunate thing. And why do I say it's a very unfortunate system? why did the inventors of the Constitution get this issue of prerogative of mercy? Prerogative of mercy is when there is a harsh system in the law, then the president weighs in. You don't just weigh in to grant pardon, just like the misunderstanding now. There is pardon to drug convicts, there is pardon to kidnappers. It is wrong. You are not promoting justice. Just because justice is a three-way thing. Justice to the states, justice to the victim, and justice to the accused. So the convict now, from all it becomes that you are now just giving justice to the accused. You're no longer giving to the state and to the injured, the person that killed the husband. The family are still grieving, and you're granting pardon. The person that has been kidnapping, those kidnapped are not happy, and you're granting pardon. We need to be very careful.
Okay.
We need to be sure that this, yes.
Thank you, Barrister. It's unfortunate that you didn't join us on time, but we must thank you, Reverend Joseph Hayab and Barrister Ezeala, for your insights and coming to share what you deeply feel. We really appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you too, and we wish Nigeria the best.
All right. Okay, yes, that's the much we can take on the program today. I'm Sunes Nathaniel, and as always, we're going to be leaving you with our top 5 videos. Please stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep beaming your light where it matters the most. May this nation continue to rise and flourish. Bye for now.